Day, another demo. And today, as per usual, we're going to get on top of talking about a big roster move. And this one, it comes a little bit late, but it's still coming. Okay, so stop complaining so much. This one's about LNZ. And the video's, of course, called Last Stop LNZ question mark with LNZ's face on Thomas the Tank Engine. Because what we want to ask today is this the player, the three-letter named player who is going to be the last three-letter named player to join NiP? And are they ever going to get another player? That's the big question. Not a lot, Zeal, thank you. And the question is LNZ the truth? Is he going to stick around? Is he going to be good? And why are we asking this question? Because of course, we want to assume that whoever they pick up is the player they're going to stick with. But ever since they picked up ZTR, the question was, is he good enough? Is he good enough? Is he good enough? Great debut, a little bit up and down. Came from Young Ninjas out of nowhere. Wow, maybe he's better than we thought. Oh, maybe he's not actually consistent enough. Boom, back on the Young Ninjas. Boom, LNZ back in the server, or on the server for NiP. And, I mean, statistically, he's not like worlds apart from ZTR, maybe slightly better across some maps. But I think what's really important about LNZ is that he has clearly been playing very well. You look at him play, and it feels like he's very deliberate, very confident, good aim, takes a lot of good decisions. I think he does some clutch rounds very nicely. And we're going to take a look and see and verify this, by watching the demo and taking a look from his perspective, if that's actually, that true or not. But I think with LNZ, in some ways, with ZTR, the question was, is the way that he plays consistently helping out NiP? Does he still have some ways to go? Was he getting better? And I don't know where I stood. I think he was pretty good. I think he's never going to be the star player of the team, and he never had that role, so his stats were never going to be incredible. And I feel like the team was doing well. Like Flashpoint, for example, was a good run with him. But then right after that, they removed him. Maui had the question about, sometimes ZTR plays, he'll, sit in a sight smoke, and, he doesn't really play with his teammate, and then sometimes he'll come out with kills, and had questions about his play style, especially on the CT sides. And I never really thought too hard about that. But when I look at LNZ, I do see someone who I'm like, wow, I see tons of potential here, as I saw some of in ZTR. But I think maybe this can be the last stop for the Young Ninjas. LNZ went in an interview, and he said, if you come onto the team and you're not confident, then you will screw yourself over and get left behind. And it was really weird hearing that, because it felt like he was just talking about ZTR. Do you know what I'm saying? Like he was talking about basically, I guess, the lesson that you learned watching the last player who was on the team, who maybe didn't come in with enough confidence or just establish himself quickly enough. In a world where these feeder teams that orgs have are now often the primary source of where the talent's coming from. Gambit are the best example. Gambit youngsters becoming Gambit. ZTR and LNZ both coming from the Young Ninjas. The last two roster moves for NiP. Other organizations making feeder teams and then actually using those players for their main rosters. This is a big thing that's going to shape the landscape of the future of Counter-Strike, and it's already proving to be successful. And it's really cool to see examples of this working very well. Navi with Bit is another great example, yeah. So, okay, what I wanted to look at, we had the option. Could we look at a good demo? We look at a bad one. And I wanted to look at a good one, but I wanted to look at Nuke. This Nuke game versus G2, which was a good one from LNZ. I don't want to kick it off with an unlucky or bad, with him, but it might make sense to look at his stats and be like, all right, maybe it doesn't make sense to look at his best match when he's not performing super well all the time. But I didn't really know, this is a charity event. I'm not sure what this one was. Then MIBR, and then this is the last solid series, I guess, that was played. That was close, and he played well in it, and he played well in the big game as well. So, yeah, I wasn't sure where to go with it, but I want to go for that one. And in this game, I looked at it and I was like, okay, he played well. We go over to nuke. This guy has. He went 17 and 6.
2 questions,
on
baby.
this nuke game.
The most famous play you casted?
Wait.
Your favorite play you casted?
I can't remember, but I'll have to think about it. I honestly probably be the worst person to answer that question myself. I'll have to answer it afterwards, though. After. I can't remember. I don't remember. I don't know. I've done this I've done too many games. I can't think about this right now. I'm not sure. I can't remember. No, I can't remember. I don't know. I can't. Stop asking me this. I don't remember. Okay, we're talking about LNZ T side nuke. He had 120 ADR, 1.94 rating, and no teammates. He had no teammates this game at all, and they got 9 rounds. So this is going to be a really high impact T side. And I was very impressed just because I was going to look at the CT side and see what's going on because people are normally getting their good halves on CT side. T side nuke is quite difficult, so how do you get all these kills? That's what I want to know. Was it 17 eco frags or was it impact frags? Because he got a 1.94 rating HLTV. So why don't we investigate and see if LNZ had a really, really strong T side here, or what he did and how he did it, because 9 rounds T side is huge. And I think when when Bubsky came on to Astralis, we looked at a lot of his nuke games, and on nuke his CT sides on ramp were good. On T sides he was really bad at first. Now he's really good on most maps, but this is impressive to see a strong T side versus such a strong nuke team. Let's go into the game. Oh my god, bad start. I spilled water on my keyboard yesterday when I was playing Dota, and now I'm using my DAS Professional S whatever with the blank keys, and I just tried to hit F7, which is my bind for speeding up the demo, and I accidentally hit F10. So bad start. Yeah, it's a throwback. It's my best keyboard. I love this keyboard, but I also spilled coffee on it a long time ago, so I thought it was fully broken. But luckily, I still have it. Yes, it's the DAS keyboard with brown keys. All right, so yeah, we're here to learn more about LNZ and what the deal is with LNZ. 1024 by 768. Stretched, not black bars. What's the strat? We're here to go outside. And what I want to know about this T side when we're learning about LNZ, as much as we are judging him and analyzing, because I don't know anything about his positions, at least not up close from a POV. What I'm looking for is, where is he on these T sides? What's he doing?
Party Kirby, party Kirby, party Kirby, party Kirby, party Kirby,
okay.
Party Kirby.
Right in the middle of the demo. Okay, is it going to be a flank holder? Is he going to be a flank holder on the T side, sitting in lobby waiting for pushes? Is he going to be entering on any rounds? Are there going to be aggressive lurks or anything like that? These are the questions that I'm going to try to answer, or want to answer. So there he's actually just setting up to throw nades through the vents so that they can wrap mini, playing in the back. And on the anti-eco, this will be, a big tell for what kind of spots that he wants to play, or is going to play. Here watching Squeaky right now. And again, one thing that stood out to me the most with LNZ was there wasn't a lot of random weapon switches and moving back and forth. When he wanted to make a play, he was deliberate about it. He moved into a position, he held an angle, he took a fight he wanted to. And he said in the interview, another interview that he did, that, all of his teammates are better than him. He said something along those lines. But he said that you've got to be confident when you come onto a new team. And there's lots of great things to say about his teammates, but at the same time, he's feeling pretty good, and he is, again, being very deliberate about the way he's playing, and that's allowing him to have impact, I think. And it says a lot that you can find impact on T side, because this is kind of why it's a little bit harder to play on T sides. Number one, because you don't, how the hell? You don't have a spot, and then just play it however you want. On T sides, you're in a traveling circus. You're with this pack. It's a little bit more dynamic. it's a... Oh, excuse me. I fixed. It's a little bit more dynamic than it is on CT side. You're moving with the pack. You're constantly taking new positions. You're holding new angles. You're trying to scale with your teammates, which is a much more complicated puzzle than playing ramp alone and then rotating down and letting your teammates rotate in to help you and throwing grenades or whatever. It's a different kind of challenge, but oftentimes T side is the more awkward one to fit people into nicely. So that's what's really cool about seeing, paying attention to maybe how well he can scale and stuff like that. But there, I guess they run out of time on this round, as they can't get down, and they get traded coming into lower. Okay, no big deal. It's still 9-8. And this is a game where his teammates don't get very many frags. He is 17-9. His teammates all have between 40 and 70 ADR, I think, in this half besides him. So if you got an idea to go ramp, I don't know if he just jumps across. Oh, surely he takes the shot, right? Ready to swing. There it is. I think he spots the blue shoulder. They take over ramp control. And they're actually going to throw this smoke far so they can push through. And the idea here is to get Almanac to rotate. I think he's back. Almanac can see them going up the ladder. I think he rotated out. And I think he just calls it for the rotations for his teammates to go in. So Almanac actually rotated out to the fork and then watched them go up the ladder. I think I remember this. But yeah, that's kind of a cool idea. Throw the Molotov to make it feel like you're going to either sit in ramp or go down lower. Then throw the deep smoke in so you can actually see into the turnpike, and Almanac has already rotated out, so you can cause a ruckus on the CT side with the rotations. But of course the round is still lost. All right. Let's see if anything interesting happens here. The full buy up, we've got an HE and a smoke. All right. So, yeah, again, LNZ's been here to blow up and squeaky. And this is he's holding lobby on this round as well. So, I don't know if he's coming in and lurking on a lot of these rounds. So, right here in this position, LNZ purposefully is late to this because when people are crossing outside now, because the smokes go down, CTs are trying to challenge the cross, and now people are leaving one or even two people behind to specifically catch any CTs that try to get in the middle of players crossing. Now, in a situation like this, ideally, you go 1 for 1 on the trade with Hunter, but LNZ is the insurance policy to come in late. And you put a little pressure on Squeaky at the beginning of the round, and then the guy in Mini has to watch his back a little bit. Maybe he's going to be encouraged to spam inside Squeaky, and then maybe he doesn't fight outside. And if you fight inside Squeaky, you take some pressure and emphasis off outside so you can do stuff outside a little bit more. So that's what we're already noticing is LNZ's role this game. And your role in front of Squeaky on the T side is so important. I mean, this part of the map where the door gets blown open, and it's so important that CTs are willing to, this is insane. Oh, he catches the flank on Jax. The awareness to go and watch that actually in this 2vx. And they bring this back, this situation. He gets dinked. This is really huge. And now they're in the power position. They're actually sitting, waiting. They've got Hampus going on for a lurk to get some information. And they just have to figure out if Nexa decided to sit in upper or sit in lower. Those are his two choices. So one of the best ways to do that is, going around. A lot of times players in a 1v2 situation will be sitting in front of the vent here where LNZ is clearing, or the squeaky area, because you're a fast rotation down the vents. You can stay on upper, you can go into squeaky, wrap around through hut. It's a position with a lot of utility. And so going up through heaven is a very good counter to that spot. It's still a gamble kind of no matter where you go in this 2v1 because you don't know where Nex is rotated to. But they might have had an idea. And look at this. LNZ actually sits out in the open with his teammate in heaven and takes that duel and trusts himself to win. And that's one of those moments where you see the confidence from LNZ. He was actually low HP. He could have gone into hut, but he decided to take this very sharp fight and trusted that his teammate would peek off him and trade. But yeah, let's focus more in on this squeaky position. So this spot is so important on CT side. People are fighting it. Almanac hits a great shot into LNZ and takes him out. But this duel between the CT side and T side, it's going to go back and forth throughout the half. It's where some of the most early action will happen consistently. A lot of people will die spamming through the smoke one way or the other. And the reason that it's so important and so annoying is that it is... On the T side, you're stopping the CTs from getting into the vents to go lower. You're watching the CTs who are inside mini. And the CTs have to constantly be aware of, are there Ts inside of Squeaky trying to fight me? If someone is in vents or in Squeaky, then they can stop you from being able to rotate downstairs. Let's say your teammates go quickly outside. LNZ is sitting there watching Squeaky. Then suddenly they have to deal with LNZ just to get that vent rotation down if they want to go fast. Or just knowing that someone is always there means that they just have to consistently smoke it so they can do that. If they take out 3 smokes in a round, smoking Squeaky off over and over again, that's, you know, a smoke that won't be there for the retake. That's a smoke that won't be there for ramp. So always having presence is so important on Squeaky on the T side. And it's such a nightmare for the CTs to deal with, even if they might kill you in that position sometimes. So here again, establishing on the ramp. I don't know. Last time they decided to do on it was an eco round, and they decided to smoke in and push through. They go through again, okay, and they try to find a timing. And Almanac is up here. LNZ trades him off of the ladder with the Mac 10 and finds the Squeaky kill. That was some beautiful stuff. Almost dies in from vent and looks for another frag. Hampus finds the third, and Jax, in the 2-on-3 situation, is about to get cleared here from LNZ. He bites on the shoulder peek, which is nice from Jax. But, oh, LNZ killed him with the wall bang. Holy shit. That's already a nasty round. Even if he didn't kill Almanac as fast as he did, this round wouldn't have even got started. That's so nuts to think about. The impact he had on this play. And it was kind of gimmicky, right? They decided to do the exact same play they did to Almanac last time, where they smoked it and ran through to heaven. And Almanac was rotated up to heaven this time, and he was very ready inside of heaven. You don't often see people rush the, wrap up to heaven in that way. But they had some specific read or tell maybe on the way that Almanac was going to play it. And I guess they weren't correct about it, but they still were able to win because of that huge individual play. So let's pay attention to how... So it's all about, establishing control here on T side, making the CTs don't want to play these close spots, making them burn their utility. And here he throws a flash out for himself. This one-way battle over top of HUD is a huge one. And there's 2 more entries here on the T side. And we could see he executed with his teammates perfectly. The flash came out. They both were moving at the same speed. And very deliberate. I mean, very little wasted mouse movement with LNZ. He's always kind of looking exactly where he wants to. He really plays with a lot of... It feels like he plays with a lot of tenure, even though he doesn't have that much experience. But that's just a small example, right? An easy exec on an anti-eco upper. Let's see if there's another example of that. Rounds like this, you've got to be... You're basically just trying to deny any rushes. That Molotov and HUD is so that they don't have to clear this angle out after they come in. So Plopsky comes in right after the Molotov, so they don't have to clear these close angles. And there's just too many off angles inside that HUD, so it's really important to pre-molly it if you can before you're able to, or before you actually run out. And now I think we're just in a fine position. There's not really much counterplay here for the CT side. Everybody's got perfect post-plant positions, the player advantage, and also better guns. See if that door is blown open or not. A little bit of bumper cars inside the lobby. And I actually still don't know, is that door blown open or not? I don't know. I think it should be, right? No, it's not. Okay, you didn't use it yet. I don't know if he threw that nade with a post. No. Device. Okay, let's see how they do this. So here's another tethering situation where you have someone inside of Squeaky, and you might go take ramp and go downstairs, and then LNZ will be here to catch the rotations downstairs. He's relying on his teammates to get the entries, though, if you're going to play a spot like this. And you can see how late in the round CTs are smoking off Squeaky. You have to do this on the CT side. It is such a resource-intensive area, but if you don't smoke it off, you don't put pressure, you don't want to give the T's the open fights here. You might win them sometimes, but it's very fun for the T side. Look at this. Hunter actually doesn't realize his leg is being spotted. Then the mollies come down. And here's the other thing, okay? When you're executing upper, you can do it almost entirely through Squeaky because you can throw all the nades you need to. You can see that Asian molly, opposite vent molly they throw, makes it so they don't have to clear that out. Then they have Squeaky smoked out. Then they have this close position cleared out. And then they can clear out every single area, every single angle on the site, swinging together out of Squeaky. So even just Squeaky alone can be enough to take over the A site. And then even that fight is not very CT-sided, especially if they know you're there. The Ts are going to be able to see your feet first. And you also have the option to go down the vents if you kill the guy in front of Squeaky or whatever it is. And now, look, Device can even spot Heaven from up here. He can get an easy re-smoke in. This is such an important part of the map. Dare I say the most important part of the map right here, Squeaky. And they win off this. It was actually a mistake from Hunter. Didn't realize that his feet could be spotted. I don't know what he was seeing. But that was such an easy kill for LNZ. He didn't even react instantly, but Hunter could never see him. And there's that one of the opening kills that happens on a spam through Squeaky. And 5v4 T side, it's so T favored. I mean, it's not just 5v4 favored with the 70 to 80% margins for the 5v4. It's so the map becomes so T sided. The rotations are already difficult enough in the 5v5 on CT side, but now you lose Nico's often playing outside solo, playing inside mini. And here that in Molotov we saw before that can be used to make it feel like the upper exec is coming. They turn it into a ramp play, bait out some utility on their way out to ramp, and look at this hard clear from LNZ up onto Nexa. How many players would forget to clear that, honestly? That was really, really good. Almanac has the most incredible round here, actually. Oh, this looks so ridiculous from his perspective, and Almanac doesn't bite on the shoulder peak. That was so nasty. Oh, I remember watching that live from Almanac's perspective. It was a beautiful round, but it looks even crazier from the Ninja's perspective there. They lose off of that. And this is with the opening kill and actually the kill inside ramp as well. The Almanac was just right place, right time there. Oftentimes he was opping. To see him in lower in that position, he made the fastest rotation ever. Hampus gets that Nico kill outside. And I think I spent a lot of the cast in this game talking about how good Nico is at controlling space outside, being alone, and making it feel like he's three people. But honestly, for every bit as good as Nico was, Hampus was even a little bit better this game. In terms of him getting the opening kill outside, killing Nico specifically, controlling space alone. And of course, I don't need to talk about Hampus. We all know how good Hampus is right now. So here, let's see if they need some help taking upper. Look at that. Jax gets played with. A beautiful shot, an instant kill, a critical frag from LNZ. They have to trade upstairs. He doesn't walk out. He holds his flank and then comes back to fight Jax and doesn't just blindly and mindlessly run it onto the site, frantically trying to figure out where Jax is going to be because he feels like he's too slow. He's just very calm and patient, and I think these are the moments where I think a lot of new players, they're like, oh, I should be here. I don't want to be looked at as a baiter. I should be helping in this position. But LNZ kind of tactfully says, here, I can have impact. I know where Jax is going to be. I'm going to take the peak this way. I'm confident about it. I'm not going to overreact just because my teammate died and I decided not to go upper this, like, at that very moment. I'm going to take my time with it, and I'm just going to get the kill. And that's another critical frag right there. Jax could have had a big round to stop NIP. At any of these moments, it feels like NIP could have gotten back into the game. Or, sorry, G2 could have gotten back into the game. I think this round Hampus kills. He gets killed by Almanac jump spotting outside. And now we clear up the ramp. And of course, everybody knows you can't plant the bomb in ramp, but it can still be worth taking if you scare the CTs into thinking about ramp. It pulls the CTs more passive in the other positions, and it allows you to do this. You know, you get them to make mistakes aggressively when they think, oh, we've taken over ramp control a number of times. Let's try to get some compensation. If you want to make a CT team feel insecure, take a bit of map control from them, and then they'll try to overcompensate by taking a piece of map control somewhere else. And even in a position like that, you use $700, $1,000 of utility to just show presence at ramp. And the CTs could come back up ramp. It'll be a little bit of time before they could come back up ramp. And in the meantime, they might push into hut. They might try to wrap outside. They might try to take over some other piece of map control, and that's where the punishment comes in. And that's another position. I mean, it's only versus a CZ, but if LNZ doesn't get that kill, then they lose hut control, and it's going to be a lot harder to take upstairs. Again, he's got just one impactful kill every single round, basically. It was an interesting move because, of course, you know, they get to finals of Flashpoint with ZTR and everything like that. But yeah, it's hard to know. It feels like definitely it's a situation where stats don't represent the feeling, I think, for the for NIP when it comes to how they're thinking about their teammates and what they've looked at so far. And in what could be the last round of the game. Oh my god. Almanac just... Oh my god. He actually just died holding an op. Dude, that's nuts. If that wasn't a headshot, he would have gotten opped right there. That's another moment where he just gets a ridiculous... I mean, everyone's getting first bulleted too. Jack's upstairs. Hunter... I mean, he's not nervous. Jack's upstairs. Hunter in the hut. Nexa on the ramp. Here on Almanac. Instant first bullet headshots every single time. Even careful enough to take out Jax, who goes inside of the squeaky. Accidentally mollies the back of the site. But I would take those two headshots over a bad molly any day. And that is just insane. Jax makes a mistake. He like kind of freaks out and looks behind him inside of squeaky and overreacts in his position when all he had to do was sit in there and watch lobby. But ninjas are so patient and call that timing. They earn the timing though. And that's it. That's the I think that's the LNZ effect. You know, that was a match where you can see the LNZ at his very best. And if we look at some of his other games, you know, with full context, he's not played like that every single game, of course. But in his highs are looking very good. His highs are looking very good right now. He's obviously very new to the team. Let's see. We've played a number of matches. I think, let's see if this is already the charity event as well. Yeah, so these two series are the charity events. Maybe this one is as well. Yeah, this one is as well, actually. Okay. So this is a big tournament match. He played really well. This is a big tournament match. They won. He played really well. This one he struggled in, but they still won. And then some of these earlier games here. He had a couple of series here where you could see it was a little bit up and down, not super comfortable. But, I mean, this trend right here into his most recent important matches has been very good. So, honestly, very impressed with LNZ. He was looking good. And I'm looking forward to seeing what we had to see from him in the future. I have much less questions about LNZ as a new player on NIP than I did for ZTR. I do think ZTR was good, and I don't think he was, like, clearly bad or anything like that. So I can understand, you know, how it can look strange to make the roster move they did, but at the same time, I can see the upside with LNZ. I really can. So maybe it is last stop LNZ. we'll have to revisit this in a few months and find out who the next 3-letter name player is that's going to be on NIP.